The fans have been impatient for quite some time now for the follow-up to Dune Part 1, and the sequel certainly lives up to the expectations. With new characters and new story arcs that are sure to leave you mesmerized, Dune Part 2 has been worth the wait. Among the new characters introduced, Elia Atreides, the daughter of Lady Jessica, is perhaps the most intriguing, primarily due to the surprise element and for the impact she is set to have on the story. In this video, we will dive into the details of this character and bring you the implications that she might have in the upcoming Dune movie. There might be a few spoilers along the way, so you have been warned. Before we go into our explanation though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
My brother is coming with many Fremen warriors.
Who is Elia Atreides and how does she play a decisive role in Dune Part 2? Dune 2 is set on the premise where Paul and his mother, Lady Jessica, continue the fight against the Harkonnens. They join forces with the Fremen and the war for Arrakis intensifies, but not without consequences. Before we get into the details of Elia Atreides in the movie, it is important to understand that the film is not exactly a word-for-word adaptation of Frank Herbert's novels. Even for Elia Atreides, played by Anya Taylor-Joy in the movie, there have been some major changes, especially with the timeline of the character. In the 1965's Dune, Elia was born during the time that Lady Jessica and Paul stayed in the Arrakis desert along with the Fremen. She had a crucial role in the final battle, and the circumstances have been twisted considerably for the recently released Dune 2. Elia Atreides is the daughter of Lady Jessica, and previously we have seen how Paul psychically finds out that she is pregnant. In Dune 2, Elia is still in the womb, a fetus inside a pregnant Jessica, but her influence in the narrative takes a significant turn following a few events. Jessica is made to consume the water of life in order to become a reverend mother among the Fremen. This poisonous potion takes its toll on her unborn child, who gains consciousness following this. She is also able to communicate with her mother and her brother, and she significantly impacts the decisions of Lady Jessica from this point. We first see Elia Atreides convincing her mother to influence the weaker ones amongst the Fremen to acknowledge her powers, and the ideas of the Fremens about a messiah set to redeem them is also given fuel through Elia's plans. At one point, we even see her trying to convince her brother Paul through her mother by suggesting that he is weakened by love and he should be focused on the greater purpose. Paul, however, decides to stay back and he is not a part of the journey when Lady Jessica sets out. In 1965's Dune, Elia Atreides was born with the complete powers of a Reverend Mother, and even though she was only a toddler, her awareness, consciousness, and knowledge was that of a full-grown adult. She was called an abomination by the Bene Gesserit because of her unusual traits, and it was believed that such incredible powers at a very young age could make her lose control. Her mother, however, gave her the opportunity to live and control her powers, and she grew up as a skilled warrior even at the age of 4. The story continued as she was captured by the forces of the Emperor and eventually broke free after poisoning Baron Harkonnen. Dune 2 consciously changes the storyline in order to compress time and put more focus on Paul. The director also wanted to highlight the dynamics between Paul and Lady Jessica, and Elia Atreides is thus made to play a key role from the background. She discusses with her mother about her brother Paul's mission and its implications, and Elia is shown to have a unique, influential relationship with her mother. Even Lady Jessica's arguments with her son show that Elia's perspective plays a critical role in her thinking. For a major part of the movie, Paul tries his best to avoid accepting the Fremen's prophecy of the Messiah, where they see Paul as their guiding force. However, Paul is constantly haunted by apocalyptic visions of a future where a destructive war would leave billions dead. After he drinks the water of life, Paul gets a vivid vision of a figure in the desert, which turns out to be Elia Atreides. She briefly interacts with her brother and tells him that he can now see the past and future of their clan. It is a brief moment, but it is a grim reminder of the conflict inside Paul and how the potential danger threatens everything he stands for. How do her previous roles in books and movies shape her appearance in Dune Part 3? Denis Villeneuve doesn't shy away from making subtle changes from the novel in his adaptations, and Dune 2 also works on the same lines. The director has created a new timeline in the movie, and here the narrative begins with Lady Jessica just having found out about her pregnancy. The events in this movie span across roughly 7 months, and Elia Atreides is still an unborn child. However, the way she gains her unique powers is the same as depicted in in the novel. When Lady Jessica drinks the water of life to become a Reverend Mother, the potion impacts her unborn child, who gains consciousness in the womb along with visions that enable her to communicate with her mother and her brother. Given how the movie ends, you can be sure that Alia Atreides would have a key role to play if the franchise continues, which it would in all likelihood following the massive response. It also makes sense why someone of Anya Taylor-Joy's pedigree would agree to play the role, given the promise of something bigger in the movies to come. Alia Atreides would probably move from being a guiding voice to playing an active role in major events in the Dune universe. In Dune 2, Anya Taylor-Joy primarily has a voiceover performance, aside from the vision of Paul, where she physically appears, briefly. The ones familiar with the novels will remember how Alia Atreides had a key role to play in the novel Dune Messiah, where she actively helps her brother and tries to prevent any conspiracies against the Atreides family. Her on and off romance with Duncan Idaho has also been explored in this novel, and we believe that these events would feature in some form in the next Dune movie. You can be sure about seeing a lot of her in Dune 3, and she would, in all likelihood, play a pivotal role in shaping the destiny of the Dune universe. Paul would stick to his noble intentions, and Alia would be the valuable ally in the complex times of conflict. There is also a major chance that Dune 3 would explore the part where Alia is corrupted by the return of Baron Harkonnen, and this could bring her back as a threatening villain. She might be instrumental in setting up the downfall of Paul in some form, because Dune 2 has already hinted at the tragic turn of events in Paul's life, where his greater goal keeps moving him away from his loved ones. Why the appearance and casting of Alia Atreides was kept a mystery. One of the most well-kept secrets of Dune Part 2 was the inclusion of Anya Taylor-Joy, who played the role of Alia Atreides. Of course, the fans expected the presence of the character in some form, especially after it was hinted in the first movie. But the timeline changes, and the casting of someone who isn't a child was definitely unexpected. During an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the director revealed that this hide-and-seek was played as an experiment, and it was like a gift he wanted to keep for the fans. The creative team simply wanted to see how long they could keep things a secret, and luckily for them, the plan worked wonders, and no one really had a clue about this appearance. Marvelous Verdict, a sequel that raises the bar. The Dune franchise has been captivating fans for decades now, but this new age adaptation ensured that the legacy is preserved in style. If the 2021 Dune movie left a few complaints from the fans, the sequel has resolved all concerns and delivered the perfect setup for the next part. There have been some obvious changes from the novels, but Denis Villeneuve handles them effortlessly, be it the timeline change or giving more importance to certain characters than what was given in the canon. The curious case of Alia Atreides adds more fuel to the curiosity for the next part, and it is needless to say that the franchise now has all the potential to finish with a bang if all the loose ends are tied carefully. The movie is a must-watch for all fans of the franchise, and even those who aren't familiar with the Dune universe will end up falling in love with a fantasy drama adventure that unfolds on screen. Do let us know in the comments below about your thoughts on the new Dune movie, and also tell us what you feel is going to be the fate of Alia Atreides in the next part. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.